Welcome to We're Talking Bears, the show where uncle, nephew, and son give you the latest in the Chicago Bears experience. Hey, draft is over. The Bears have improved. Let's get into it. What's up, guys?
What's up? Man, it was a busy weekend.
It was a busy weekend. It started off crazy. We did our first live stream, although we had some errors. Now we're getting it going. Now we're getting it right. How you feeling about this draft, Souls?
Man, I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie. Not at all necessarily what I expected on day one, and there was some talk, especially with that first pick at number 10, and selecting the tight end, and if we should have done that, if that was the right move. But like I said, I'm trusting Ben Johnson. I've had some time since to go back and look at some tape on some of these guys because I wasn't super familiar with a lot of the college guys, so I went back and did my homework. And I like it, man. I'm excited. I mean, of course, we have to see how it translates to the pros and to the big league. But man, I'm excited. We got a lot of good talent out this draft.
What you thinking, son? How you feeling now that the whole thing is done?
I mean, we saw some interesting selections. Um, Something that I see is clearly going to be a hallmark of Ben Johnson is that he values players a bit differently from most of the rest of the league. We saw some guys that uh, people were like, oh, this guy's a second rounder, third rounder, whatever. This guy's the second best tight end. This guy's not really like, um, we're not expecting this guy to go that highly, and then we draft them where we're at. I think we only moved down one time in that draft. So
I think two
yeah,
times.
in the second.
Oh, we moved. Did we go down and then back up? I think.
Did we?
Yeah, we were moving around a little bit because we
Yeah,
did make some trades.
I gotta check to make sure we catch all the different moves we made. But point being, we drafted guys where we saw the value. And it's time will tell whether that value is borne out. But last year, I personally was really high on like Jahmyr Gibbs, for example, or was that 2 years ago? Whatever.
23.
Yeah, 23. So I was personally really high on like Jahmyr Gibbs, and the Lions went and drafted him way higher than everybody else was thinking they were going to go. So obviously the projections of the people who are outside of the football sphere um, sometimes look a little different from the reality when the teams actually get a look at a guy and think this is what his fit's going to be. So we'll see how we play that out. It's clear that these guys have a vision for what these players are going to be doing, which I really like. We're not. I hope we're past the era of just drafting guys and wondering where they're going to fit in our team. So we'll see how that looks. We'll see what Luther Burden can do. We'll see what Ozzy Trapilo is made of. A lot of guys that we're adding here that can make an impact early.
I'm liking. Well, first of all, I'm liking the fact that in the first two rounds we got 4 picks. We came in with 3 in the first 2 rounds. We ended up with 4 in the first 2 rounds. I love that. I love let's get early. Let's get it done. Let's get the higher draft guys on there. We got enough back end guys, and we've had we've had to suffice coming out of the Ryan Pace days with a whole bunch of back end guys because we didn't have any picks. Right now we're picking at the front end of the draft. I like that. The second thing is, again, you related back to 2023 with Detroit's draft class. And, whether Ben Johnson was part of that decision or just learning or some type of, he seems to be using the same formula because that draft class, people thought that Detroit had screwed up, picking Jahmyr Gibbs that high, but you get Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta with your first 3 picks. And man, that that really helped that team become a new team.
Yeah, and I would say that it's got to have something to do with Ben Johnson and his voice and the way he pounds the table for players because Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs, both of those guys were very highly viewed coming out of college. Like people knew they were going to make an impact, But the Lions really showed people, oh, we value Jahmyr Gibbs as nearly top 10 material. They drafted him, I think, 12th overall or something like that. So,
12 overall.
Yeah, so we really understand that. They thought, oh, if you flip Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs selections, like that makes sense, right? Well, Detroit didn't think so. So same here. Colston Loveland, another offensive guy, drafted way higher than what people thought he was going to go. So we'll see if this is the same situation.
And I looked at a couple of things behind that because I was frustrated Friday. I was like, what are we doing? And then I had to sit back and think, well, hopefully we finally got a coach that knows more than all the fans. Okay.
That's a really good way to look at it. That's a really good way to look at it.
I know. And then I was talking with the guy I coach with, and he was a college wideout. He's like, man, the way this guy runs his routes, he is a great route runner. And then I'm watching and realize not only did he win the national championship with Michigan, but even that Michigan team that won the national championship and this year's Michigan team that wasn't very good, they ran the ball so much. Matter of fact, last year in 24, they ran the ball more than they passed. They averaged like 150 plus on the ground every game and like 120, 130 in the air. They just weren't getting the ball. I think they used 3 quarterbacks trying to get through a season. It was a mess. But obviously, and Harbaugh was gone, right? And so, you point being, the kid can run block. The kid can run block. And when you look at number one, we got DeAndre Swift. You got to get him out of the backfield. If you don't get him out of the backfield, he's not going to get himself out of the backfield. So if you got Cole Kmet, who's a good run blocker, you brought in some beef up front, and you come in with another good run blocking tight end, then guess what? Boom. You got Colston Loveland, another good run blocking tight end, but also a guy that runs good routes. So, you're sitting there in 12 personnel. Maybe you just ran for 2 first downs in a row. You're walking up to the line like you're going to run. All of a sudden you shift and Kmet and Loveland step out into the slot. Your defense is in trouble because you got 2 linebackers out there on 2 guys that'll burn a linebacker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your defense is in trouble.
Some options. So I like that. I like that potential. Colston Loveland, obviously, he brings a little different skill set than Kmet. He's a little more shake, where Kmet is a little more straight line. And I get that. If you'd have gone Tyler Warren, him and Kmet have very similar skill sets. So I understand not wanting to double up on the same skill set.
Especially when you're paying a guy top dollar.
Do I think that we still probably could have got better value from a different player at that spot? Yeah. Is that going to mean that this isn't a good pick or can't be successful or won't be something that unlocks a different gear in Ben Johnson's offense? Also, no. So we'll see. Time will tell. But Colston Loveland, either way, welcome to Chicago. Obviously, we're happy to have a guy who is that talented to be selected that high in the first place. So let's see what that does. Let's see if Caleb can use him, and hopefully that brings some success.
The one other thing I want to throw in there, realizing that we are almost for sure not getting Keenan Allen back.
No, we knew that.
Yeah. Understanding that, you got a guy that's taller, that's good at running routes, and that can go up and grab the ball.
Yeah, but we didn't get him to replace Keenan Allen. We got Luther Burden to replace Keenan Allen.
I get it, but if we're in 12 personnel, that normally last year would have been Keenan Allen was out there and we were gone 3 wide. This year, I think we're going to be sitting in 12 personnel, probably maybe half the season, especially if we're running the ball down people's throats, and then Kmet and Colston are eating up yards like crazy and opening up Roman and DJ deep, because you can't. Who you're gonna pick your poison. If I'm in 12 personnel, you can't have two linebackers on Komet and Colston. You're gonna have to have some safety help. But then you got DJ on one side and Rome on the other. You need some safety help. I think this is gonna create some matchup hells for some teams. Hopefully, teams that wear green and eat too much cheese.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't really think Green Bay had a really great draft from what I'm seeing. I don't know if they addressed the biggest issues on their team. Well, I mean, they tried, but we'll see how that turns out, you know. So I think we've done some good work in terms of catching up to the teams ahead of us in the division with this draft.
Yep. So, man, then after that,
teams last year,
boom, we got a speedster.
Mm-hmm.
We got a speedster who has a body like DJ Moore, 6'1", 200. Guy that's quick.
Mm-hmm.
And
I really like Luther Burden.
Who better to learn from than DJ Moore? Same body type, fast,
good skill set. They even run the same 40.
What was it?
4.42.
4.42. Boy can hit it. And at 200 pounds, he's gone. You know, so he's not running a 4.42, and he's, you know, I love our old guys from the past. We remember Hester, and who was the guy that was the receiver with Hester, and he was just a burner.
Johnny Knox.
13 got injured.
Johnny Knox,
right. So, you know, but this guy's a 25 pounds more muscle than Knox was. And that makes a difference because we lost Knox to a serious hit, you know.
That was a freak accident, man.
It was a freak accident.
I love Johnny Knox. He's back, you know, around the team. We've seen him kind of showing up at practices and events and things. So we love seeing him, you know, moving around and recovering well from his injuries, man. That was one of my favorite guys, man. Knox,
man.
I love Knox when he was on the team.
Me too.
Yeah. Hey, do you guys remember that play where Hester faked receiving a punt and the punt went to Knox?
Yeah, we remember. Yeah, and then the refs called it back because it was too good of a play for the Bears to run.
It was an illegal touchdown.
Illegal touchdown. The Bears shouldn't be in this game. Flag on the play. The fix is in.
Right. Yeah, we've seen that before. Like when Justin's getting beat up in the past, bam! Oh, his helmet fell off after he slid. Must be a legal tackle.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, dude! Don't even get me started.
I don't want to get you started, but yeah, I like Luther. You guys got any numbers from his college on him? College days?
Yeah. So he was a 3-year player at Mizzou, and he was really, really kind of mercurial, I'll say. His freshman year, 45 catches, 375 yards, but 6 touchdowns, which very, very good for a freshman. Then you got his sophomore year was really when he kind of exploded. People thought he might declare, but I think he was too young to declare for the draft at the time. But he had 86 catches and 1,200 yards with 9 touchdowns that year. This past year in 12 games, he only compiled 61 catches for 676 yards and 6 touchdowns. But overall, solid body of work, well deserving of a second-round pick, a high second-round pick. But the fall off in production kind of hurt his stock, probably pushed him just out of the first round. But a lot of people thought very highly of Luther Burden coming out. He was rated very highly as a receiver on a lot of draft boards. And for us to get him at the top of the second round, really that solidifies our receiving core is pretty lethal.
Oh, man. It brings some competition. Somebody who's good is going to be riding behind.
Yep. Yeah. So obviously with DJ and Adunze locking up those top 2 spots, you know, that's unquestioned. Luther Burden is going to take a really hard look at that number 3 spot. And honestly, who else would be in that spot? You know, we lost Keenan Allen, obviously.
Right.
But I don't think anybody behind him has really made a case that they're deserving of that. So hopefully Luther can make that case this year as a rookie.
Hey, I love the competition. We'll have serious competition for that WR3 and WR4 positions, which is beautiful. Hey, the other thing about Colston, he 2 years younger than the other tight end, Warren.
Tyler
I believe
Warren.
he's
I don't
He
know.
is young.
I have to look.
He is young. I don't know how if it's 2 years younger.
He's
than Warren,
young,
but he's
which
definitely young.
which that's not bad for us. With he may pick up some weight naturally, you know,
He's
just
only 1
because
year
he's,
younger.
yeah. But then B, yeah, I like getting him young when he's already got a body of work and he's already got a national championship. I like it.
He's almost 2 years younger. He's like a month shy of 2 years younger, a month and a half.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. We don't need another Velas project. I'm just,
Man.
I'm sorry,
no,
I should have gone there.
I feel you. 22 though is not an old rookie.
No.
So Tyler Warren's not like he's not coming in the league at 25. You know,
Right.
he broke out pretty young as a superstar this past year, and is
Right.
deserving of the high selection he got. He was right behind us at 14 to the Colts. So
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have been mad if we got Tyler Warren. I was really
I wouldn't have been mad either.
the prospect.
I wouldn't.
He's got some elite traits that
Yeah.
not a lot of guys even ever flash, you know. And maybe
Yeah,
Coach
yeah.
Lovin, you know, his production was harmed by the quarterback situation in Michigan. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I don't know what Michigan really stunk it up after Harbaugh left.
Yeah, okay, that's to be expected. They thought they was just gonna let him walk and replace him. Nah, they was tripping.
They stunk it up.
Yes,
That's,
they did.
so boom. Then as we've been called for now, we went out and got a tackle.
Ozzie Papillo. Yep.
I like the fact that we didn't stretch at 110 because 3 tackles were already off the board when we came up at 110. It's like, come on, you don't want to spend the 110 pick and get the 4th tackle off the board. I'm not saying it can't work, but I'm like, you got to be in your second group or third group of tackles at that point. So I kind of getting the tight end there also because you're like, all right, well, nobody's picked a tight end. We get whoever we want, which is nice. But this, you know what? Look, to have a guy that's played both left tackle and right tackle in college successfully. That's I'm correct, right? He played both sides, left and right.
Yep.
So he played left tackle and right tackle, which means that he can come in and work the swing tackle job. He also can push him because he's this isn't a late round pick. This isn't a Karan Amagaji.
Karan Amagaji was a 3rd round pick. That's
but
the
he
kind
was
of
a
player you
stretch.
expect to eventually become a starter.
But come on, where'd he play?
I forget where Amagaji.
It was either Yale or Harvard. And I love the fact that he's smart, but there's not too many NFLers that came out of either of those schools. That's just not an NFL factor. So, I'm not mad at Karan. Great. Keep working, build your stuff up. This guy should be sitting there circling Karan's job. And it's like, I want to send him to the practice squad. That's what I want to see. I want to see this guy send Karan to the practice squad. I want some fight in there. Somebody need to get sent to the practice squad.
Yeah, that's true.
But I've seen some of his film. He's got some good film. Laying the lumber. That's what you want. You want a tough guy that's going to lay the lumber and get his hands into the defender. And has had some, top tier college experience, so he's not overwhelmed. I mean, I think part of why Karan looked so bad last year when he walked in, because he goes from playing Ivy League football to the NFL, and in the trenches in the NFL, and left tackle in the NFL, and You know, when Braxton was out and he had to step in, you know, you're going up against the best edges in the business, and you were playing Ivy League ball. You were playing against children. You know,
Well, I'm not going to sit here and say Boston College is a football powerhouse, because they're definitely not. But they are a solid program, and they produce their fair few offensive linemen. But I will say, Trapilo does his best work and had in college at right tackle. So right now, it looks to me like you said, like he's going to be going for that swing tackle job and primarily be the backup for what's his name on the right side.
Yeah. Darnell Wright.
Darnell Wright on the right side. So, I like that we picked what I think is the best pass protecting tackle that was available in the second round. I like that we got him at pick was at 56, so pretty good value on that selection as well. Do I think that he's going to be like, let's step in and challenge Braxton Jones for the starting job? Not necessarily, especially considering, the rap on him is pretty much the same as it is on Braxton, and pass protection is his anchor needs work. That's only going to be exacerbated facing the edges that he's going to see in the NFC North and in the NFL in general. Combine that with the fact that, he's a very tall tackle. He's 6'8" or something like that, 6'7", 6'8". So, sometimes he's going to have trouble, run blocking and getting beneath guys and moving them off the line and run blocking. So there's some holes to his game. We got to see kind of how he's going to play out. I think he's going to do really well if we can sit him and let him develop for a bit, and he doesn't have to get thrown into the fire right away. I think that's
I like that. One of the things that Ben Johnson, when he showed up, said he wants to put 10 or 15 pounds on Braxton so he can anchor better.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that they're in the process of that right now, getting him. I'm sure he's in the gym and on the food that he needs to be eating, on the diet he needs to be eating to pick up another 10, 15 pounds before the season starts.
Good.
And if he can add 10 pounds of muscle, we may see a different Braxton Jones. Also, he shouldn't have to be looking over his right side. He shouldn't be worried about somebody running a stunt and all of a sudden they're running free. He should only have to worry about his left.
That's good. I mean, thank goodness, because man, it's been a turnstile there. So
it's been ugly. And next on deck, we went out and grabbed a defensive tackle just to add to the mix. I like the idea. Again, second round guy, you throw him into the mix. Hey, you know what? This is a wake up call for Pickens.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say.
Hello, Pickens. Hello. Yeah, we just hired somebody to take your job from you. This is a wake up call. I'm not saying we're dumping him, but Pickens could end up on the practice squad if this kid shows up, because we went out and we grabbed a older but mean, tough, hard to handle even with a double team defensive tackle, a Tommy Harris type of tackle in free agency. You already Billings should be back. I mean, we should be hard to run against. If you really want to stop the run, Billings out there. What's the name of the new guy that we just brought in on free agents?
I'm trying to remember right now. Not the edge, Dio, but
not the edge. But he's a big boy. He's sweat size. We can put an 1,150 pound line up there from the front four.
Mm-hmm.
We can stop the run if everybody lives up to their potential. So this kid, he's gonna have to fight to get time, and he also
Grady
kid also
Jarrett.
edge.
Grady Jarrett,
too, right?
That was it.
What'd you say?
Oh, I forgot we picked up Grady Jarrett.
Yeah. So we got a rotation, man. We can rotate, and if somebody goes down, there's the next man up. So this kid's gonna have to fight for his job, and that's okay. That's what I like it. Let's go. But it really says to Pickens, man, your days are numbered if you can't get the job done.
Yeah, honestly, with the rotation we have at D line, like really edge, we're still thin. Obviously, Dio has never really been like a big sack artist at edge, which is why I thought we were gonna go take a swing there, maybe at this pick even, if not at the top of the first round. Which there were some really good edges out there at the top of the first round. So
Booker's got to make his presence felt, though. Booker's got to make his presence felt this year.
Yeah, Austin Booker. He's got to step up and prove that we're, our investment in him is worthwhile. But there will be guys going in and out. I just want to see, guys like Shamar Turner. He's going to have a battle ahead of him to get snaps. He's kind of undersized guy, like 280 or something, 285. But he's tall, he's lanky, he's got long arms. And hopefully he's got the power to collapse the pocket.
And I'm not correct. He also played edge in college, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but
yeah. So we can move him around. He's versatile.
Yeah, he feels a lot like DeMarcus Walker in that kind of role.
Yeah.
Where he can be on the field for different packages based on that versatility. But you got to be really good at one thing before you're good at anything else. So let's see what he can do exceptionally and what we can do on a coaching side to put him in position to excel. That's what I really want to see early.
Yep. Liking it. It's you know what I'm really feeling. I mean, those first four I feel really good about. I really, really feel good about those first four.
I hope so. That's we had 4 picks in the top 2 rounds.
Right.
That's uncommon at best. 3 second-round picks for us, which is huge. That's a lot of youth and talent that's being injected, all at once. So hopefully at those positions we can see some noticeable uptick in production.
Now, did we give away in all this trading? Did we give away anything from next year?
From next year,
I don't think so.
Yep. So yeah. So I'm
traded back out of 41 to get the 2 picks.
Yep. Hey, it's a beautiful thing. So again, I'm giving Poles credit on managing the dollars and managing the picks. Because if we go into next year, we got all our picks and we collected all this and added all these guys. I think we gave up a fourth or something. We gave up something for somebody along the road. Didn't we trade for Kansas City?
Man, we should have just had a list of trades.
It was a lot. It was a lot. But then boom. Have you watched any film on this guy?
Yeah.
He's somewhere in the 4.4s as a linebacker. And he's not heavy. He's like 236. And man, but he's got hands, he's got picks, goes and gets the quarterback, he gets around, he lays some lumber. He forces fumbles. I'm just, dude, I'm liking this guy. I don't want to mispronounce his name. Is it really Hippolyte?
Hippolyte. That's it.
Hippolyte. Okay.
Hippolyte.
Hey, man, when a hippo come running through the air, you get the horn and nothing but blood everywhere, man. That's what we're gonna see.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's kind of an undersized guy. I think just 5'11". But he's, like you said, he is fast. He plays with good instincts. He can move around. Feels a lot like who is the guy that went to Detroit a couple years ago? Rodriguez. Feels a lot like a Malcolm Rodriguez kind of pick, where you get a guy who he's just everywhere on the field. He plays with good instincts. He knows how to sniff the play out, get in the backfield. So I don't dismiss a guy that's got a motor like he has. that, you know, kind of makes it around the field like that. So hopefully he can contribute in that second phase. He can contribute on special teams and prove, you know, what he's made of. I really like this guy. I like the way he plays.
Yeah, I like the film I've seen on him. What'd you think about him, nephew?
I like him. I like him. Again, man, I'm trusting these guys, man. We got new coaching. At the end of the day, like I said, I'm not super familiar on a lot of the college guys, so I just been watching film. He's got a lot of good tape on him. I'm just hoping it can translate. I was just really interested to see if we were gonna, as they said, continue to build not just off of what we did in free agency, but continue to build the trenches, continue to build where we have areas of need, and not just get excited with big name players, and make sure we continue to build the team. And it looks like that's what they're doing. So, man, I'm just hoping these guys can pan out, and when they get to the field, it translate to some W's for us. But so far,
Yeah,
it's looking good to me.
it looks great on paper, and you're right. We continue to address the trenches. We got D tackle. We got an offensive tackle. We also later around coming up soon. We got a guard, and then you got a nice fast linebacker who's not quite part of the trenches, but linebackers participate in the trenches a lot. And so we brought some, along with all the free agents we brought in 3 offensive line starters.
Yeah.
I think they all 3 been in the Pro Bowl, and we brought defensive line starter or backup, depending on how we want to use them. And also in the Pro Bowl, and then we brought an edge in that can help out. Now again, I think we're light on edge. Next year, we're going to have to go out and draft for edge. But we're getting to the point where we're literally drafting guys to be backups. And that's when you know you're getting good. When you draft a guy to be a number 2 at a job,
yeah,
like with Colston, you know, you draft him to be a tight end 2, and boom. What do you know? If he takes over tight end 1, it's a phenomenal thing, because you got a great tight end 1.
Honestly, at the 10th overall pick, man, I kind of expect him to do that job. Like, I love Cole Kmet. I think Cole Kmet is awesome. I think Cole Kmet can be, you know, again, one of the top 10 tight ends in the league in any given year. But you draft a guy 10th overall, I want more than a number 2. I don't want you to be a backup.
And I honestly feel like that's what it's going to be. I feel like there'll be a 1A and a 1B kind of a situation, because with him picking him that high, I expect him to be a very integral part of whatever Ben Johnson is planning to do with this offense.
Exactly.
And that's how I see it.
Yeah, I think you're both right. I like last year we had 1A and 1B at wide receiver. This year we should have 1A and 1B at tight end.
Right.
Just 100%. Again, I'm a Cole Kmet guy. I'm sold. But you know what? You go to that 12 package, you have another 250-pound plus guy. Well, he's minus a couple, but you have a 250-pound guy that can block and run routes and is 6'6". You know, it's hard to cover. That's a hard cover.
Yeah.
That's just a hard cover. Period. You know.
I'll tell you this. For the last few years, I've been noticing the Bears just being extremely predictable. And what I like now is it seems like we're getting to the point where defenses are going to have a hard time planning and preparing for the Bears, because there's no telling which weapons we're going to plan on using or how they'll be used. And I feel like that's going to be a strength of ours going into the season, because let's face it, we didn't run the ball well or hardly any, getting any yards.
The beginning of the year was terrible.
And it's not that I don't like Swift. It's just that I don't think we whatever we were doing is just like, you knew what we were going to do. And it wasn't we couldn't mix it up well enough. We couldn't get any push on the O-line. The O-line wasn't worth it. And so now that we've got some new guys in here, I'm hoping that we can mix it up on teams and actually get to our weapons that we have. And we've got a few of them. So like I said, I'm looking for them to be the 1A and 1B at the tight end, and where teams that really have to kind of ease off and, have to kind of sit back and think about what they want to do, because we have so many different weapons that we actually should be able to use this year.
Mhm.
100%, 100%. And also think about, you look back over the Super Bowls that have been won. You got to have a great tight end. You nobody's winning the Super Bowl without a top quality tight end. And I take nothing away from Cole. I think he's a top tier tight end, but you can't have too many. You can't have too many.
Right.
So let's rock with that. So coming up, Zay was next, right? Am I right?
Mhm. Is it Zay or Za?
It's Zay,
It's Zay.
even
Yep.
though it's spelled Za.
All right, Zay.
Yep. After Hippolyte.
You got Hippolyte, and then you got Zay.
Yep.
Mhm. All right, so Zay Frazier.
Did we skip somebody?
No.
No, we're on
Who's
number
your third
6,
one pick?
and the great thing is, I mean, even at the number 6 pick, we're only in round 5. So,
Yeah.
but this kid, he's like 6'3". He's very thin at 6'3", but he can move. He's fast, very fast, and he's a ball hawk. I'm guessing at the numbers. I think it was something like 5 or 6 picks and like 14 pass deflections, something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
It was
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
think it was 6 picks, a forced fumble. Yeah, so many pass deflections. Yeah.
Man, he's
got
gonna
good
push some
instinct.
people. And again, because we're in a tight end oriented league, to have a 6'3" cover guy is a beautiful thing. He's not going to get lost on a tight end. As a matter of fact, he's going to outjump him.
Yeah.
So to have that guy, you run into the team that lives Kansas City, living off Travis Kelce. Other teams that are trying to live off of their tight end. You got a guy that can match up one-on-one with the tight end and roll with him the whole game, and probably not get tired before he gets tired. And he's got the hands of a great cornerback. I mean, to get your hand on the ball that many times in one season is impressive.
Yeah.
It definitely is. I like that pick. It definitely gives us some good depth at corner. Obviously, we have some struggles, some second year sophomore slumps, if you will, over at our CB2 spot. Let's see if we can clean those up. But obviously, also he's coming in. We've got Kyler at the nickel spot, who we just locked up to a big deal, so he's not going anywhere. So really, like, he's looking at like dime packages. He's looking at backing up guys and trying to just snipe reps wherever he can. So I do like the versatility to just square him up with some of the bigger receivers and bigger tight ends and shut those guys down a little bit more effectively than we've had in the past. But let's see where he gets. A 5th round pick. We expect him to come in and just compete for whatever reps he can to contribute on special teams. Like I was saying about Hippolyte, and his role in the team, he's got to carve out for himself. So we'll see what he does well, and then hopefully they put him in position to do that thing, and we'll see how valuable that is for us.
The other thing with these guys on special teams, these guys are burners. I mean, for their physical size.
Yeah.
Our special teams should look special because these guys can cover ground.
It's been a while since we've had good special teams too.
Man, yeah, we've had some bad special teams for times.
Yeah.
Man. So Dudu, and then Luke. So we got a big guard, and this guy, first of all, he's coming out of Big Ten. You can't go wrong getting a lineman out of the Big Ten, because that's on both sides of the ball. It's a war, and so you got a big guy that is a road grader. You watch some of this kid's film. He's putting some people down and moving them out the way, and that's what we need. And guess what? All he gets to do is learn. To sit back and you know, be you know, that fourth interior guy. Hopefully he should work his way up to there, but you know, just sit there and learn from the Pro Bowlers that are in front of you, um, and get your man strength and learn. Which is it's a great position to be in. I like the pick. You know, I like a Big Ten offensive lineman that's literally he doesn't have to. He probably only gets garbage time play this year, and that's good. And garbage time and preseason, great. That's I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Just let them do it. We've had a few of these late guards sniped off of our teams as well, you know, sniped from our practice squad and things like that. So we need the depth. We need these guys to prove they can earn a spot and stick. That's going to be a little more difficult. You know, our offensive line room and the backups now who used to be starters. We got Ryan Bates. We got we've just picked up Jonah Jackson as well, who's going to push somebody down the chart. So it's going to be a little more crowded in that offensive line room. So he's got to push hard if he wants to make waves there.
Yep, absolutely. So man, I'm loving it. And man, I absolutely love our last pick.
Oh yeah.
It's just, man, you're talking about a kid that I'm going to say some wild words. I'm going to say you've got a kid that reminds me when I watch his film of Ashton Jeanty. He is a bowling ball of a man, 5'11", like 209. No, 5'9", 209.
Yeah.
And he's a bowling ball of a man, but he's got some speed. And he wasn't running in some small league. He's running in the Big Ten. He's running, against teams that can really, 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 put a hurting on you. So this kid, when you look back, he dropped 143 on Virginia Tech in 23. He dropped 148 on Michigan State in 23. He dropped 159 on Ohio State in 23. And then in the bowl game, he dropped 163 on Miami. You're talking about that's real football, man. And those are real tough teams that are out there. Then you look at 24. He's went up against UCLA, got 106 yards and 3 touchdowns. Went up against Maryland, not a great football school, but got 97 yards and 2 tutties. Went up against Illinois, got 122, and went up against Michigan State and got 129. So he's. I mean, this kid's making some numbers and getting this done. I think I'm not saying he's as great as Ashton Jeanty, but I think he's a steal for a kid that was running up against that type of competition, and we're catching him on the back end of the draft. Round 7, pick 2. There's a crime. I don't know why he's sitting there.
I agree. I mean, I'm glad we did get a running back because I was hoping that we did, and this draft had a few good ones. And like you said, for us to get him in the 7th round, I feel like it's a steal also. So we're gonna see what he can do. I think he'll be. I don't know what our running back room is. I know we got Swift, Roschon. I think he falls in. I don't know the other guys, but I think he'll fall in somewhere around there. I don't know if he'll be able to bump Roschon, but Roschon didn't do a whole lot this past season, and I like him. Short yardage, I think he was pretty good. He didn't have a lot of yards, but he converted well on short yardage. But I'm really interested to see how this guy looks. He's got some good film. He's tough. He's fast. So
I'll say, I mean, fast is a subjective term. I think he ran a 4.6. That's probably why he was there in the 7th. To me, he is kind of a smaller Roschon. Like he carries himself with that kind of power bounce off blocks and get past people, but I don't think he has that breakaway speed, and I think that's what really limits Roschon as well. You know, when he hits that hole, it's hard for him to get past that third level. So, you know, them safeties are waiting there, and usually they're able to bring Roschon down, and that's where he struggles. Hopefully he can bring some moves or some shiftiness that can get him to that next level. But I don't see that as any different from like where Demo was, especially coming in as a rookie. I think Demo maybe a step on this guy, but like if that, you know, nothing more. So we'll see what he can do. Obviously, there's going to be opportunities at the running back spot, especially the way Ben Johnson likes to call plays. So we will see this guy, and we will see what he's capable of.
Hey, all I can say is I like it. I like this pick at 7th round. This is a value pick. If I'm sitting at the back of that room, I'm concerned about this guy. He being 4'6", great. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but you know what? He's so hard to bring down. He bounces off of tackles.
That's like, what I like about him is that contact balance. Yeah.
If you're chasing a guy from behind, and you're hoping you bring him down. You're hoping. Okay, I ran. There's some guys in the league that can run him down. There's some guys in the league that can outrun him. Mm-hmm. But he's not easy to bring down.
That's why he is calling card. We got to see how effective he is. Can he use that frame of his? Because 209 is good for a running back, especially at 5'9". Like, he's not the biggest guy. If he can be a little bowling ball and get into that mix between the tackles and make it through holes and bounce off of guys. That'll be effective. He's a little lighter than Roschon. He's a little slower than DeAndre Swift, but hopefully he can be that good middle ground there, and he can do a lot of work for us.
Hey, I am so looking forward to this off season and the camps. I'm excited. Honestly, before we got Ben Johnson, I wasn't even hopeful, man. I was kind of tired of being hopeful. Then we get the top coach prospect, and then we make a bunch of trades for the trenches, and then we have a good draft. To get 4 guys in the top 4, and even the guys that you got on the back end of the draft, like this kid, this kid's value add. This kid's a value add.
I think everybody we got in the third day was good value. Personally, I think Zay Flowers or Frazier. Zay Frazier
value add
was a really great value pick, especially given his speed and size combination. He's really going to push those young guys in the cornerback room behind Jalen and say, y'all really got to prove you deserve to be out here, because anytime you add that kind of skill and that rare blend of traits and skill, that's good value, and we need a lot of that at the back end of our roster to push us forward.
We need that. Well, I'm also.
Hold on. Before we wrap, this is what we've been saying. Is what we've been saying for some seasons, that we want to see the competition. We want to see the guys that are in there have to show up to play every day and know that nobody's spot is safe, and know that you got to come with it, and you got to maintain the spot that you want, and you got to show that you deserve it. And so that's what I like most about this. And like you said, Unc, that now we're actually able to select backups. We're actually able to bring guys in that can learn from the guys in front of them, and also push the guys in front of them to perform at a high level or lose their spot, because that's what this is about. So I'm excited about it, and we'll see what's next to come.
Yeah, and remember, we didn't even look at quarterbacks. There were a lot of late round quarterbacks. We didn't even look at a quarterback. I love it. I like Bagent. I am become a Williams fan. I like Bagent. We don't need to look at quarterbacks. We good. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's build a team.
Man, I'm loving it. I'm excited. So, hey, I'm Uncle.
I'm Nephew.
I'm son.
And we're talking Bears. Bear down.
Hit the button.